Welcome to the special product training session designed for health professionals working to support cardiovascular health for their clients, their patients, or their customers. I'm Dr. Michael Garko, Nutrition Advisor for Strauss Naturals. I'm joined today by Wayne Elliott. He's president of Strauss Naturals. And Strauss is a company that has built a reputation that's renowned for its commitment to herbal based natural health solutions. Our focus today will be on the Strauss Naturals Heartdrops, which, by the way, is the flagship product of the company. Wayne, I thought a good place to begin today, since you know so much about the company and your relationship with Jim Strauss, and especially the Heartdrops, if you could share a little bit about the origin and the development of the Heartdrops. How did the product come about?
Well, I'll tell you this, Doc, and hello, great to be with you again. I'll tell you this much: if it wasn't for the heart drops, I guess I wouldn't be talking to you right now and doing this video. But the heart drops formula is definitely one of the newer formulas in the Strauss catalog. It is 46 years old.
Hmm.
It was made by Jim and Peter Strauss for Jim Strauss after a massive heart attack. I guess the lucky part was he was literally a very, very short distance from the Vancouver hospital when he had his heart attack driving his car. And he just wheeled into the parking lot and laid on the horn. They came and got him and did some testing and then told him what was wrong with him. He had, it's either 4 or 5 clogged arteries, Doc, and told him that without the bypass surgery, he could die that day. So Jim didn't know anything about cholesterol, or he always said, I'm Austrian. I like my bacon and egg and pork soup with the fat on top when it's cold. And he said, all those sausages, So it was made by Jim and Peter in one afternoon. They figured that formula out for Jim. And thank goodness, because we needed Jim Strauss in the world. He'd done some great work and provided these wonderful formulas. I think the total catalog of Strauss formulas, some of which are 200 years old or closing on to 200 years old. Peter Strauss is the 8th generation master herbalist in the family.
Wow.
So yeah, the heart drops, they were made once the hospital doctors told Jim what his problem was and why the heart attack. He and Pete figured out the herbs they'd need to, the intention is to make blood flow everywhere we have a vessel, vein, or tiny capillary to carry it. It's important. Number one, body function. Every single cell needs blood. That's why we have 50,000 miles of blood vessels in us. It's hard to believe, but it's true, twice around the earth. And wherever we don't have sufficient blood flow, we're going to have an issue. We tend to think about heart attack and stroke because they're the big ones,
Sure.
the number one killers. But believe me, if you stop getting blood to your foot, you're going to have problems with your foot, your ears, your hearing, your eyes, all of it. We need that blood. So it's just incredible. And I sure am grateful myself, Doc, and my mom and dad, and for all the people that we've been able to help. Thank God they came up with the Strauss Heart Drops formula.
So the product really came about. What's that old saying? Necessity is the mother of invention. Out of necessity,
necessity breeds invention.
They created this product, and I had a smile when you said, "Well, it's one of the newest products in the line. It's been around 46 years."
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It has quite a reputation. You alluded to this in your sharing of this backstory on the product. But it's important for health professionals when they're talking to their clients, their patients, or to whomever, customers, to know about the primary purpose of a product. You alluded to this in your comments, but what, in your mind, is the primary purpose of the heart drops?
As intended, to make blood flow everywhere we have an artery, vessel, or vein, to carry it and fully flow. In other words, not be restricted at all, much less blocked. The creator did a pretty good job creating us. Pretty amazing, really. And so what we'd really like, Doc, is for everyone to have 100% blood flow everywhere they have vessels to carry that blood.
Right.
And that's been our experience. It's been just a fabulous product. It's painless. I never took pharmaceuticals, Doc. I had a heart attack more than half my life ago. And then after that, high blood pressure and irregular heartbeat and so forth. It was kind of a miserable downhill ride for almost 6 years till I found Strauss. Was lucky to make it maybe without another attack. And yeah, so as intended, and that's really the purpose of the Strauss Heartdrops. Everything works better when we have full blood flow.
Okay.
Even it carries everything. That's the other thing, Doc. It's the only transportation system in our body. So
Right.
oxygen, food, water, medicine, waste, it all has to go through our blood. And just amplifying the importance of our blood flow, our blood circulation.
On the bottle, it does say to support overall cardiovascular health. And what you're describing, indeed, is supporting overall cardiovascular health to support, the comprehensive cardiovascular health system, if you will.
Yeah.
And that is really critical. The ingredients, the formulation is really interesting. Jim Strauss and his son in one afternoon put that together, but they were able to do that, I suspect, because of decades and decades of experience as herbalists and understanding how these things work. And the herbal ingredients, I know you have certain favorites, but the central ingredient in that formulation is the garlic. And garlic, when you look at the science, we know that it reduces LDL cholesterol, prevents oxidation of cholesterol, and supports healthy blood flow. That's what the literature tells us. Hawthorn fruit is in there as well, Wayne, as you know, and it strengthens heart contractions. It improves coronary blood flow, what you were talking about. It supports heart rhythm. It's got hawthorn leaf and flower as well, which is interesting. European mistletoe's in it, which promotes vascular relaxation, supports blood pressure regulation. Motherwort, Jim put it in there, calms heart palpitations, promotes relaxation of the heart. And cayenne pepper, people would think, gee, cayenne pepper, yeah. It enhances circulation and supports the vasodilation, the opening of the arteries. Bilberry's in there, white willow bark is in there. It's a great formula. I know that you like these herbs a lot. Anything that you wanted to say about this formulation?
Well, Doc, with Jim Strauss, he's not with us anymore. God bless him, rest in peace. But he told me many years ago, as you know, he lived with my family twice a year for a month at a time over the course of 6 years. So I literally spent a full year with him around the clock, except for sleeping time. And it was wonderful. But he told me that the cayenne pepper, they knew it was necessary. Oil and water don't mix. And one concern he had was breaking off a chunk of plaque and having a stroke.
That's right.
So he said the cayenne pepper make your arteries sweat. And there's never been a case that we've ever heard of where anyone had an issue, of course, taking Heartdrops. But, so you're right. The years of experience, he claimed to have a miserable childhood with his grandmother and his aunts going through the forest and the meadows, and they would shove herbs in his mouth. This is for heart. This is for lungs. This is for liver. So, but they did have their craft down very well. And the Strauss Heartdrops are known to be just a top shelf product, Doc. There's nothing else like them.
Wayne, why this product works, at least from my point of view and my training as a nutritionist, each ingredient addresses a specific pathway that is implicated in cardiovascular health, such as endothelial function or cholesterol metabolism or blood viscosity or inflammation. And it's really genius how he noodled through that and figured out how to do that. So what you got is these herbs working together. The fancy word is synergistically working together. In other words, they work better together than they would alone. And that
Exactly.
combination of herbs targets multiple aspects of cardiovascular health. I think that is really the central, how can I say, benefit of that product. It's
Yeah.
just a genius formulation.
It's as with all, we've discussed this before as well, Doc, that um, the Strausses were very clear on the fact that everything connects in our body.
Hmm.
And so it was always about, no matter which formula, but certainly the heart drops, it was always about the health of our whole body, our system, in this case, our circulatory system. I must say that uh, other folks, so many of them that have been helped tremendously with this formula are diabetics, Doc. Tremendously.
Ah,
No more lost toes, no more lost eyesight. They have a 4 to 5 times greater risk than the population that is not diabetic, 4 to 5 times greater risk of heart attack and stroke than those who are not diabetic. So, and I was distressed when I heard this many years ago that over 80% of them didn't know that apparently. And it's a pretty serious thing. So diabetes is certainly no joke. It's a serious Schedule A disease. And we've seen just what people themselves have called miracles, what the heart drops have done for them with their diabetes and their suffering, pain pills,
sure.
and so forth. It's terrible.
Right.
So
So uh, we're sort of alluding along the way here to some of the features and benefits. Uh, I know that the folks that work in the stores want to share with their customers, for example, features. Customers want to know,
yeah.
why is this product so good? What are the features and benefits? In your mind, what are some of I have some ideas about it too, but what is in your mind are some of the top features and benefits of the Strauss Heart Drops?
Well, it's a painless treatment, Doc. There's no pain. It's just drinking a liquid or taking a liquid formula, the Strauss Heart Drops. Um, so there's no pain. There's no invasive surgery or anything like that. I was afraid of all that when I spoke to doctors after my heart attack. It's no pharmaceuticals for life with with the heart drops. You don't have to take them for life. Now, I've been taking them, I think I'm in my 29th year. And since me and my family are prone to this business of heart attack and cholesterol and plugged arteries and strokes, I'm going to keep taking it till the day I die, as far as I'm concerned. And there are many people that continue to take it. They'll call it a maintenance dose, and because every drop works. So I think it's just a great idea. And you've pointed out as much as anyone the importance of planning and preventing. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as the saying goes. And you've always pushed that. Let's face it, you're better off to avoid the heart attack than recover from the heart attack. So your point there is excellent. And I too would love to see more people take it before any trouble starts. You can't hurt yourself taking it, Doc.
That's right. And a benefit of this product for health professionals to know is that it's a proven natural product. We got the product has decades of consumer use,
Yes.
and there's 100% money back guarantee. Is another benefit of the product.
Yeah.
No questions asked. I mean, I know that you really uh, embrace that a lot, and you're proud of that. And the product, being that it's a tincture, a liquid, is more bioavailable and it can go to work right away. And it's easy to take. Sometimes customers and consumers take a lot of supplements and they suffer from what we call in the business pill fatigue.
Yeah.
And so this is not a pill, it's a liquid, it's a tincture, and it's easy to take. By the way, what is the recommended dosage and daily use for this product?
Well, for someone that knows they need it, like I sure did when I found Strauss Heart Drops, um, it's 2 to 2.5 droppers full 3 times a day is ideal. Um, and if you were taking it for prevention, you just wanted to make sure everything was clear and everything was good, and you were hoping never to have a heart attack or a stroke, anything like that. If you took it as preventative and regular body maintenance, I would say one full dropper 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But if
Okay.
you have an issue, do the max dosage on the bottle is my recommendation. You'll get quicker
And
results, Doc. It's almost like Drano. Drano, you may use a quarter of a bottle to unplug the bathtub and it doesn't work, so you need the rest of the bottle. So it kind of makes that's my layman's analogy, Doc, is that
I get it.
so yeah, and you can't be harmed. You can't overdose. It's the
Right.
pharmaceuticals people need to be very careful with. Read their paperwork if they're having any side effects or serious side effects, so they can let their doctor know. It's so important. But there isn't that with this natural. Our body knows what to do with natural substances. If you took more than you needed, your body knows how to get rid of it. We go
Right.
into the bathroom. So it's just
They're
like
not,
cherries.
the ingredients are not toxic. And
No.
so that's a wonderful thing. What's interesting in my clinical practice, I have now combined the use of the Heartdrops, Wayne, with the kidney blood pressure support drops,
Beautiful.
because I know that the kidneys play a huge role, a primary role in regulating and managing blood pressure.
Yeah.
And so my clients that have cardiovascular issues, especially high blood pressure, I'm also putting them on the kidney support drops. Could you talk a little bit about that combination?
Yeah, it's great. And you've done a lot to point out how closely the heart and kidneys work together, Doc. Now, in my case, all those years ago, I took the Strauss heart drops. The most incredible thing for me is I went from not being able to do my job properly, not wanting to do much of anything. I sure didn't want to climb any ship stairs. I even quit playing with my sons and their friends. I'd quarterback both teams, and I just loved it. My favorite thing to do in life was throwing a ball, and I stopped doing that. When I took the heart drops, boy, the energy, it was unbelievable. It truly was. But when I met Jim Strauss, my 5th month taking the heart drops, I said, and I didn't know they had other products, Doc. I never had a booklet. I was referred to them by a dear friend who had avoided bypass surgery himself. He lives in BC now. His name's Ted. And so he told me about his good luck. I said, give me that name, Ted. And I called out to Strauss, got them to express me a bottle, and the rest is history. But when I met Jim in my 5th month, I said, my blood pressure is still higher than the doctor'd like. And I do have this irregular heartbeat they call supraventricular tachycardia. And that's driving me crazy because I feel every beat. That's when I found out. He said, well, then if it isn't your heart, if your heart was the problem with your blood pressure, the heart drops would have lowered it. If they didn't, then it's your kidneys. And he gave me his kidney blood pressure formula. 3 months I took it. I was 120/70 for 28 years till I got that myocarditis a year or so ago. And then it did go higher. That was a tough thing. And the arrhythmia, the irregular heartbeat, he told me he's got the CardioCalm. I took it for 3 months, and same thing, 28 years or whatever. It just, my heartbeat was regular. So, but those heart drops, I personally think that everything works better when you take Strauss heart drops as well, because it's getting everywhere in your body it needs to get. I think that's why everything, in fact, works better with the heart drops. But that relationship between the kidneys and heart is so important. The only time we can guarantee someone's blood pressure be normal is if they take both those formulas, Doc, because our doctors don't know. There's no diagnostic test to say, hey, Wayne, it's your kidneys, it's not your heart. We don't have that test. It kind of surprises me with all the tremendous diagnostics they have, but your doctor can't tell you what's the source. There's only those 2 sources. Can't tell you which it is. So if you take the heart drops and the kidney formula, if you're not happy with normal blood pressure, you just get your money back. Simple.
Yes. And I would like to remind those watching this training, we also have a specialized product training on the kidney blood pressure support drops, and we explore this in more depth in that training. As we come to a close, want to remind you that Wayne and I are very grateful when you attend and watch these training videos and taking the time to learn about the various products that we want to share with you. And today it was on the Heartdrops. And we hope that it's given you the necessary product knowledge to recommend the Heartdrops and the kidney support drops to your clients, to your patients or customers or family members or to whomever who's in front of you. Here are some key points to remember. One, the Heartdrops provide overall cardiovascular support. It's comprehensive. It's a synergistic formula. It's a liquid, a tincture, so faster absorption and bioavailability. It's easy to take. Natural ingredients. It's safe and effective. And guess what? It works. Wayne, what would you like to share before we leave our wonderful visitors today about the product?
Well, you know what, Doc? You know what I want? I want everyone to get what I got. I went from being not very well in my second half of my 30s to I feel great at 71, and I want everyone to have life is great if you're healthy, Doc.
100%.
If you have serious health problems, it's not so much fun to be here. And I wish everyone could give it to themselves. And
yeah,
I got somebody singing "Happy Birthday" to my wife on the other phone. Sorry about that.
Well, we're going to wish a happy birthday to your wife. And we also would like to remind the folks watching, if you have any questions about the Heartdrops or the kidney blood pressure support drops, please contact Strauss Naturals. We are always here to support you in your efforts. Wayne and I, we answer. If you go to StraussNaturals.com, there's a link there that says Ask Dr. Garko. We've had scores and scores of people go there and ask questions. I respond to every one. Wayne responds too. He personally responds to many of the requests and emails that we get, and so we're very involved, and so we're grateful and we appreciate you. And I guess we'll see you the next time. Wayne, thank you for being here today. You're always informative. I love doing this with you, man. It's great.
Thanks, Doc. It's always great to be with you, and thanks for joining us, folks. And do your best to have a very healthy day and give it to yourself today. We promise you won't be sorry.